Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Oh, hey, Internet, and welcome back to the Intoxicated podcast. If you're brand new to this podcast, this is a drinking variety talk show where I typically have my friends on and we talk about life. As I'm recording this, we are in the middle of a crazy storm. So if you hear the wind in the background, that's what that is. I'm hoping and praying I can get through this without the power going out. Very excited for this week's episode. This week, I actually have my best friend since grade 2 on the podcast, and that is Danielle. Danielle has done 3 other episodes on the show. She did the first ever recorded Intoxicated, which was episode 2. She also did the Canada Day Century episode and episode 34, which was our episode all about being 30. Danielle and I actually met in grade 2, and we have been best friends ever since. We've both done a lot of growing up in that time. And so some of the podcast is actually just talking about childhood nostalgia, childhood friendship, kind of the phases of friendship we went through, having known each other since grade 2. And also a lot of talk about growing up in a small town. From grade 2 to 9, Danielle actually lived with me in Ganesh, which is a very small town. So we have a lot to say about that. But then we do dive deep into actually talking about mental illness. Danielle actually went through a really hard time in her life, and she was courageous enough to come on the show and talk about it. So we actually talk about psychosis. So this was a very honest and somewhat serious episode. There's no way to really make light of mental illness. However, I will say Danielle has been doing quite well in recent years, and she is open to talk about it. So it's always good to shed some light on these more serious subjects with someone who is comfortable enough in themselves to talk about it. So I want to give a huge thank you to Danielle for coming on the show and doing this, because it was a really good, insightful episode. I actually learned some things myself just having Danielle answer some questions that I had about it. So very glad to have Danielle on. She's my best friend, so she had to do a solo episode. And I also want to give a happy belated birthday to Danielle, because this week was her birthday. She turned 31 on March 13th, so happy belated birthday, Danielle. And I can't wait to eat Indian food with you this weekend. 2 more shout outs here on the top of the show. I want to give a shout out to our very first Patreon, Tyler. Tyler, you rock. You're awesome, man. Thanks so much for supporting us on Patreon. Tyler is donating $10 a month to us, and we are super excited about that. So huge thanks to Tyler. Also a shout out to Intoxicated Reviews. I was actually a guest on Intoxicated Reviews this week. I got to be part of a Fight Club episode. I actually saw Fight Club for the very first time, and then the next day I chatted about it with Corey and Evan, so that was a lot of fun. Make sure you do subscribe to Intoxicated Reviews. That would be our separate feed for TV and movie reviews hosted by Corey. And obviously make sure you're subscribed to Intoxicated Podcast as well. And if you like us, give us a rating or review on iTunes. That would be super awesome. And of course, make sure you are following us on social media. That would be on Facebook and Instagram at Intoxicated Podcast, on Twitter at @in_toxicated. You can also send us an email at intoxicatedpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to come and support us on Patreon, you can certainly do so. We do have a Patreon page with various reward levels, so be sure to check that out, and that would be patreon.com/intoxicated. That's about it, guys. I am going to wrap it up because there is a snowplow right outside my apartment, and I know it's going to pick up on the mic, so I hope you enjoy this episode with Danielle. We are back! Oh, hey. We are on the Intoxicated Podcast with my best friend since grade 2!
Whoa! I don't know. Like the most obnoxious sound you can find, please and thank you.
Okay. Permission to put that in.
Yeah.
Welcome to your first time alone on the
I know,
podcast.
Right?
How
It's
cool
been a long
is
time
that?
coming.
Danielle was on the first ever recorded episode with Karen and Neve. And you've been on the Canada Day one. Was that it?
No, me and Andrea were
and you and Andrea. So you've been on 3, so this is your 4th one.
Yeah. I feel like I should get a medal or something.
You're finally alone on here. And that's something everyone's terrified of. So you're taking the step.
Yeah, finally taking that plunge.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad.
I mean, it is a show about drinking and friendship, so it's only fitting that I have my best friend on at some point.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I guess.
Just saying. No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah.
But Danielle's here, and we're drinking gin, right?
Yes.
Gin and soda
gin.
water.
Yes.
And some lime.
Lime, yeah.
Lemon, lime, sugary goodness.
Yeah.
This is, so do you think gin is, like, kind of your go-to?
It is now. I used to drink a lot of vodka, but I find I got kind of sick of it, so this has, like, a slightly different taste, and I'm used to it now, so.
It's slightly different, and I can drink it, so I like it.
Yeah, it's not bad, eh?
So let's give a cheers. Bring her in. Gin, you have to drink. It's
bad
luck to not drink after a cheers. Did you know that?
Yeah, I forgot,
I don't know why.
There's so many bad luck things, though. It's like...
Do you believe in a lot of them, though?
No.
Yeah.
Surprisingly not. Like, usually...
Like the Friday the 13th.
I was born on Friday the 13th, so...
March 13th is your birthday!
Coming up, Tuesday.
Coming up in a couple days!
Yeah.
This is awesome, because Danielle's doing the show right now, and Evan's actually going to do a solo episode right before his birthday. So
Cool.
I feel like this is becoming a trend, which is like... Happy
force
birthday!
people on, like-
You get to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
And
You didn't force me, though. I'm just joking. You didn't
Let's
force
talk
me.
about life.
Yeah. So, I find like birthdays are like the time of year to like reevaluate things. So
Totally agree. Like I just did an episode with Kurt, and I was like going off about like how deep birthdays are to me, and he was just like, "Yeah, I just normally have fun on my birthdays." And I was just like, "This must be a female thing. It must be a girl thing," because I feel like guys don't self-reflect as much as girls do around their birthday, and I'm just like, why is that? Like,
I don't know. Maybe it's just an us thing. Maybe other people are like totally fine on their birthdays and don't end up crying half the night. So
you know what? Like I had a decent birthday this year, but I did come home and cry.
Oh, I did last year for sure.
like I cried at home though.
Yeah,
like,
I wouldn't cry in front of
home.
people and stuff. But yeah, no, like I definitely had a cry fest last year. And it's more of like I find New Year's and birthdays are the same. Yeah. Because it's like a new year.
I totally agree.
Yeah, so like I don't know.
It's how you measure where you're at.
Exactly.
And where you're going moving forward.
Yeah.
And it's like you can kind of look at your goals and be like, okay, I'm still not closer to that thing I've always wanted.
Yeah.
And then it gets really sad.
Yeah, exactly. Another year gone by. Yeah, exactly.
It's another year closer to
death.
Yeah, but I mean, we could die at any time, so...
True.
It's not really.
Yeah.
We shouldn't think of it that way.
Yeah.
But, how you doing?
I'm good.
You're days away from your birthday. How are you feeling about
it? Good, I guess. I don't know. I don't mean to sound so, like, down. Like, I really didn't mean to say it like that, but yeah. No, I think I'll be fine. Like,
That's what I said, too.
It's one of those things, like, you don't know it's, like, you can foresee it's gonna come. Like, the whole crying and being upset or whatever. But, like, I'm hoping that just doesn't happen this year. I'm, like, hoping it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
I felt the same way. I feel like doing the podcast and saying that it's going to be good is just bad luck, because that's exactly what I did with Kurt. I was like, it's going to be, I'm fine. 31, I got this. And you know what? Like, for me, it was more just like, I've actually had a bitchin' year. It was just the fact of like, yes, I have always wanted to have somebody. And like when you're having such a good year, like you want someone to celebrate that with.
Yeah.
And like me still realizing that I still don't have that got me kind of upset a little bit.
See, I'm like so upset.
Admittedly.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm kind of like in this weird position where like I joined Tinder recently. And like that's not going anywhere. But I'm fine with it.
You've only been on it for so short time.
And I'm not even saying it like sadly. It's like,
yeah,
I just don't care at this point. And it's like, and then it feels weird because it's like, I should care. I should be like being like out there and doing things. But it's just like at this moment in my life, I'm just like,
I just don't. You just don't. And, but that's one thing about it is, as women, we feel we have to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And like,
I think it's as people. There's a lot of like keeping up with the Joneses, like attitudes out there. Like, I think there's a lot of pressure on people to be adults and like
100%
and do all those things adults usually do.
I should have a house by this age, and I should be married by this age,
and have 2.5 kids and all those things. So,
and it sucks, but it's like I just think birthdays are a time of like self-reflection and also reevaluating and like almost like recalculating. Like, okay, I'm not anywhere near close to that, and maybe that's my own fault. But look, there's all these other things that make me happy, and like I'm gonna focus on those things.
Definitely.
And that was my kind of realization on my birthday. But fuck this sad birthday talk. Let's not be sad bitches.
No. We've done enough of that in our real lives.
This is one of my favorite things ever. A comedian that I follow on Instagram on Valentine's Day. She was like, happy Valentine's Day to like the single people. And she's like, just don't be a sad bitch today. And I was just like, I just loved that so much. I was just like, just remember, it's only a day.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's only a day.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we might have touched on it in Karen and Eve's episode about like how we met. Because we go back to grade 2.
Yeah.
Like, we go back real fucking far.
Yeah.
And, like, we became friends in grade 2. Like, don't even know how it happened. Like, I don't remember how it happened. Pretty sure it was just over, like, The Lion King, maybe?
Probably. I remember you were really into Ghost Rider.
Yes,
And I remember that was, like, a topic of conversation that drew me to you. Because it was something that I don't even know what the show was about, to be honest. It just had the word ghost in it, and I was like, I'm on board.
That's hilarious. Because that's still to this day something we connect about. Yeah. Because we like paranormal stuff. Yeah. And anything that's a little bit like, the ordinary. And I think that's the perfect situation of like, we are not full formed humans yet, and yet we had a connection. Yeah. At like such a young age.
Well, that's the thing.
I've been friends ever since.
I work with kids like about that age, and it's like I think about it. I'm like, I don't know if any of these kids would ever stay friends that long because there's so many like little fights all the time. So it's like it makes me sad because I'm like, you're missing out if you don't.
I hope they. That's actually a really interesting point. Like, I wonder if people maintain friendships.
Typically not that long, I don't think.
Because, I mean, this sounds bad, but, like, we didn't have technology back then, so we kind of had to have friendships.
Yeah, exactly. You had to use your imagination. You had to, like, do stuff that wasn't, like, I don't know.
Run around the woods. Yeah, exactly. And play detective and, like...
And nowadays there's,
pretend
like,
we were witches.
Like, oh, God. Like, helicopter parents and stuff like that. Like, we didn't have those back then, so...
That's very, very true.
So,
damn, can you imagine our childhood if we had phones and
no, it'd be terrible. Media? It would have been awful.
Oh my God. I'm very thankful.
Think about like every embarrassing thing you've done in your childhood, and think about someone having a camera there, like to film all of it and post it onto Snapchat or Instagram or whatever.
That's true. I kind of did have that with my video.
Oh, black and white camera?
I had a black and white video camera that connected to a cord, mind you. This was not a cordless camera.
No, it was like attached to the TV.
And you would watch on the TV what you were seeing. Like, through the camera. It was the most ghetto, like, low-tech camera ever, but we had so much fun with that.
It was still fun, yeah.
We loved music, too. Me and Danielle were in the school choir together.
Yeah, until I got kicked out, but that's besides the point.
We were such... shit disturbers in the lamest ways.
Oh, yeah.
Is how I put it. Like, we weren't bad kids.
No, definitely not. I think we were probably the better. We weren't like the goody two-shoes, like,
no,
did well in school sort of thing. We were just losers, basically. That's what it comes down to. Still rocking the loserness.
We were losers. Yeah. But we just, like, we would just get in trouble for stupid stuff. Like, it was never bad stuff. It was just stupid stuff, like cracking up on the announcements. Yeah, wasn't that a big thing?
That was. I remember also. Do you remember how like our elementary school? We moved elementary schools basically. There was like a junior high and an elementary school next to each other, and we moved from the elementary school to the junior high. I think it was because like it wasn't safe enough for the junior high kids. So they gave it to the elementary school students.
Asbestos.
Yeah, something like that. And yeah, like, there was one day the school was still, like, there. They didn't bulldoze it yet. And I remember, like, me and you snuck up on the hill. We weren't allowed to go up on the hill. No. And I would go in the school. I think you waited outside because you were a little bit better than I was.
I was too scared.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember doing that sort of thing.
And then we got caught.
We got caught because I would go back. I went back more than once. Like, it was multiple times.
We were explorers.
Yes,
that was our thing. We we always wanted to explore everything.
Yeah.
And we had such an imagination, so much so that, like, we thought we had powers and we were witches.
I don't think I ever really felt like I did. No, I don't mean to, like, oh, like, I was too good for... No, I don't mean like that. I just mean, like, it was for fun.
It was for fun, yeah.
I did, like, write about it. Like, we were writing back and forth on a piece of paper or something, and my mom found it, and she, like, had to talk with me about it.
What?
And it was so embarrassing. It was, like, horribly embarrassing.
What were the notes?
It was just, like, us talking about... I remember. I wrote a story about being witches, and then Mom was like, do you really think you are? I know you and Sarah, like, believe that you are.
Shit.
And it was, like, humiliating to the point where I was like, I'm never looking back on this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just turned my back on it, so.
Interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, then there you go.
Well, my mom was like, as much as I love her and, like, everything, she's one to read notes that she would find in book bags and stuff like that.
She'd be a snooper.
Yeah,
so, like,
she's a bit of a snooper.
If the opportunity comes up, she would do it.
Yeah. Not now. Like, I'm too old for that now, but, like, definitely when I was a kid, like, if I had a note in my book bag, she would read it for sure.
Did she... So, like, when I think about, like, my childhood and being friends with you, because, like, there was definitely another friend that I had known for slightly longer, and then I met you, and, like, you were, like, my best friend from grade 2 onwards.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're the one who gave me the sex talk. I'm close to positive that I learned about sex through you.
Probably, just because, like, my mom was one to also not care about what movies I watched. She wasn't really, like... She was just never super... I don't want to say vigilant, because that's not the right word.
Strict. She
wasn't strict on it.
Like, I had a strict upbringing.
Yeah.
And your upbringing was very much so more laid back than mine.
Yes.
I would say, yeah.
Oh, definitely. Like, I didn't have as many rules, and, you know, I went to bed kind of later, and all those things.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, like...
Hell yeah, you did.
But, like, yeah, it didn't... I don't think it had a negative impact on me, but, like...
Hell no. Well, I learned most of the stuff through you.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if...
How accurate it was?
Was that a good thing or bad thing?
I don't know.
Because you probably learned from TV and media.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And then I learned through you.
Well, this was, like, also really young conversations. It wasn't, like...
Yeah.
We were discussing this in high school. It was, like, more of, like, the first...
It was more of the, this is what sex is. We don't know much about it.
Yeah.
But this is what happens.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, sex education wasn't the great. So
oh my god, it was terrible.
One thing I should, like, preamble this with is, like, Danielle lived in Antigonish, where I grew up, from grade 2 until grade 9?
Yes.
And then you moved away.
Yes.
So, but a big chunk of our, like, junior high, elementary school life was in Antigonish.
Definitely.
And it's a really small town, and it's a really narrow-minded town, I would say. Yeah. Maybe it's changed, I don't know.
I have no idea. I haven't gone back.
Yeah, but growing up, like, the sex education wasn't that good. Like, there wasn't a lot of, like, if there were gay people, they weren't
out
open about it.
No.
And so a lot of, like, us discovering these things is, like...
Through media and, like...
Yes, big time.
Movies, things like that, because, like, we didn't have people to, like, look up to in that sense of, like, that's... Like, I don't know. Like, I remember, like, I had a conversation with my mom once, like, and I asked her if she was gay, and I don't remember how old I was, but I knew, like, enough to know that, like, a gay person was someone who was dated people of the same sex or whatever, and I remember asking her about that, and she was just like, no, but, yeah, like, it was just an interesting conversation, because...
Well, because you were obviously curious about it.
Yeah.
Because no one was telling you about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like... You have to find the answers yourself in a situation like that, because they're not just being provided to you.
Oh, definitely.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, the sex education was really bad.
Yeah, it was
like,
terrible.
They separated the boys and the girls.
Did they do that in high school? Because I left in high school. They did too?
They did, yeah.
They kept it, like, I remember, like, watching movies, and they'd always have, like, the condom on the banana or whatever it was. We never had that experience. I didn't have that experience in high school. Like, all I had was a guidance counselor telling me, or our group of, like, students, that, you know, it was so easy to get pregnant that, like...
Fear.
There was just fear-based, like, in abstinence-based, and, like, no other education.
And very focused on periods, and not necessarily sex.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like, it was more like, you're a woman because you get a period. But, you know, they're not talking about... Oh, you might feel pain when you first have sex. Or, like they're not talking about stuff like this.
No.
They're talking more the bare basics, like, this is what happens. And, like, I remember very much so. Like, I was friends with you when I got my first period.
Yeah.
And that was, I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And, like, I think we went to PEI on, like, a school trip. It was grade 6. And we went to PEI on a school trip to, like, a water park. And I'll never forget it because my mom was like, you're probably not going to be able to go because you're on your period.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
But you know why? Tampons weren't a thing.
They were, but like they weren't
really out there to us. Like,
it wasn't an option.
It wasn't an option. Like, when I first got it, I remember going home from school early and getting a book, a stick of deodorant, and some pads. Like she just gave me like a
chuck
period.
them at you.
Yeah, she just like gave me a period care package.
Oh my God.
I was like, figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even remember actually having a conversation about it.
Wow.
But like, and that's why it's like, you knew a little more than I did. So, like, at that age, I was always asking you questions.
Yeah, like, because we didn't have the internet where you could Google things and things like that.
You were my Google.
Yeah.
You were my Google before Google.
Oh my God.
How sweet is that?
How horrible is that? Like, that the answers were so not right. But
right?
anyway.
That's small town for you.
Yeah.
But, like,
but also it's our generation, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I look at people like that I know now who are a lot younger, and they just... Like, it's like, I remember them talking, they're like, I remember when I switched from dial-up to high speed, and I was like, yeah, that's not a big deal, that's nothing. Like, I remember when the internet was, like, not even existing yet. Like,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah, it's just a different...
It's crazy.
Like, we're, like, I think we're like, the first generation that, like, experienced... Like, I mean, I guess computers were around, but it wasn't, like, as prevalent, and, like, there was a huge... change like when we were kids to like adults, like in terms of technology and stuff. So
huge.
Yeah,
we were there without it, and we were there when it emerged.
Yes, definitely.
Which is crazy.
I know.
And like me and Danielle, we used to talk on the phone.
I know. Who does that? What kind of weirdos do that? I mean, like, I can't even imagine talking on the phone to anyone right now. And it would be like long.
I remember your phone number.
Oh, so do I.
I'll bleep it, but it was...
No.
What? Was yours?
Yes.
Oh my God! I knew it.
Yeah, you did. It was in there somewhere else.
I think 1928 was someone else's phone number.
Oh, okay.
That I grew up with. Do you remember mine?
8. I'm close though, right?
That's my phone number right now.
Oh. Oh my God. Is that really your phone number now? Okay.
Yeah.
There was a double...
You're close though. Wait, do I know my phone number?
I don't know. Do your parents still have the same number?
I think so. I remembered yours.
I know. I feel bad. Yeah, and definitely bleep that out.
Oh, no, 100%. I just think it's funny. Yeah, I got it. It was 863.
Oh.
And I carried that over to my now phone number. So.
Is that what you did on purpose?
Kind of, but like, it's also like, I'm the most hackable person that there is. Like, my password is...
Don't say your password, God.
That's friendship, when you tell them your password for everything.
No, it's not. You don't tell your password for anything.
Don't hack me.
No, I'm not gonna hack you. You're safe with me.
Oh man, that's crazy though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been friends for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And there's definitely, like, you moving away in grade 9 was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was
like
traumatic for me. It was like really hard.
Really hard.
Yeah, like going to a new school in high school.
Yeah, that's
terrible.
brutal.
I don't think I'd be able to do it today.
Yeah.
Like going, like I've met junior high kids like junior high kids recently, and they scared the hell out of me. So I don't know if I can handle at that age going to a new school, like at this day and age. You know what I mean?
I can't imagine. I can't, because we were fucking losers.
Yeah.
We really, really were.
And I was a loser when I moved to Woodstock too. Obviously, because you don't change overnight and like become cool all of a sudden.
But high school and junior high is not everything.
No, and high school was fine after, like, grade 11 and grade 12 were actually awesome. Yeah,
I agree.
I had a lot of friends and like it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't change things. Like I'm okay with how it went. So
there's so much shit. I just feel like, and maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to hear if you're a guy. Let me know. But like, I just feel like it's more dramatic for girls. I don't know what it is about going through puberty, like with a group of friends who are all girls.
Yeah.
But it's like, it just seems more intense. for some reason, in terms of like how the friendships are. Like there's more fighting with girls.
But you know what? It's not even just in during puberty. Like
it's probably like
it starts out really young with girls. Like I work with children, and it's like you see every day, like 3 girls will come up and they're in a fight, and it happens literally every day. Mm-hmm. And it'll be like different fights, but basically the same concept every time.
Jealousy.
Yeah, jealousy.
Huge.
Feeling left out.
Feeling left out is so bad.
Yeah, like things like that. So,
when you're dealing with like Danielle and I were friends with one other girl, growing up, and like because it was an odd number, there was a lot of jealousy. I think.
Oh yeah,
that would happen.
Definitely.
Well, you do this thing with her. Well, why don't you do it with me?
Yeah,
and like all this, it's also like how we're socialized too, though.
Yeah, I think that there's like this thing where women are meant like feel that they can't be close to each other and that they have to bring each other down.
Yes,
and it sucks because in my world, perfect world, like everyone would bring each other up, and then it would be like the sisterhood of people like trying to help each other,
supporting,
yes,
not taking away from, But also, too, it's like, again, it goes back to how girls are socialized. We're socialized to be polite and not show conflict. And so we end up, like, just burying our flaws and just, like, trying to hide them.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, we should be taught to embrace the flaws and accept them. And accept that, like, you're not perfect and it's okay that you're not perfect.
Yeah.
And, like, so much of growing up is, like, struggling with that. And I just don't know if it's the same for guys. I don't know. I could very well be wrong. I had, like, growing up, like, I had a very female-focused friend group.
Yeah.
I would say until about grade 10 or 11, when I started meeting guys and becoming friends with guys. But, like, the change since then, like, things change.
Yeah.
Like, you really start to realize, like, it's really not everything. And high school is dumb.
Oh, yeah.
And small towns are dumb.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's not even so much a small town. Small town mentality is just, like,
not
what
fun.
really gets me.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me not want to live in a small town ever again. Not to knock down small towns or anything, but just, there's a lot of, like, closed-mindedness. And, like, because there's not a lot of diversity, I find.
Yeah, we did not grow up with diversity at all.
No, and it's, like, I think people are more closed-minded because of that. I feel like the 100%. More, like, diversity you have, the more open-minded you are, so...
100%. And so Danielle moved away, and then you came back for college.
Yes.
So we kind of reunited in, like, we both were going to different universities in the same city.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And that was interesting, because, like, we were both experiencing 2 different colleges.
Yeah, completely different.
Like, you were, like, in party mode.
Yeah, I was definitely in party mode.
Like, Danielle and Karen's, like, I mean, I would love to do an episode with you and Karen about...
I don't think it's going to happen. But
I don't think it's going to ever happen. Maybe as a bonus episode.
Maybe.
Because it will only be released to one person.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about your bonus. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll do it for that.
Maybe.
But I would, like, I mean, you kind of get a taste of that in episode 2, way back with Karen and Neve, where we kind of touch on your guys' college stories. But
it was fun. I would never go back to that time period. I'm fine with where I'm at right now, but yeah, it was fun at the time, and it was like, you know, the thing to do, I guess. I don't know.
Life just didn't seem as hard in the early college
I had so
days.
much money back then. I don't know where all this money came from, but...
How did we have money? Like, I wasn't working.
Neither was I. I was not working, and I had at least $60 a week to go out, like, to go to bars and stuff.
I mean, I think the other thing, too, is like, things were just cheaper back then. Like, drinking was cheaper back then.
I mean, dollar shots, dollar drinks.
$1 for a whole shot of alcohol.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they had dollar drinks now? Like,
yeah. I think there'd be a lot more alcohol poisoning.
I mean, I'm kind of glad they stopped them, but at the same time, it's like, I think back and I'm like, yeah, money was an issue back then, but things were cheaper back then.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why.
I don't know.
I don't really know, but what was your alcohol journey like? Like, coming into drinking, that's a good question. Like, did you drink underage?
Oh my God, yeah. I started drinking, but it wasn't like super underage. I wasn't like a junior high drunk person.
Like grade 11 or 12?
No, it started I started drinking basically after the age of 18.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a too big of a difference.
Same here. I think I had my first sip just before I turned 18.
But I was like the point where I was drinking on the weekends and stuff. Like it wasn't just like a
one-time thing.
It was like, you know, every weekend I'd go over to like my friend's place in Woodstock, and she lived over the bridge, and everyone would go partying outside. Like she had like a trampoline on her yard. Yeah. And it was like every single Saturday night we'd go to her place and we'd stay out, and I would stay the night there. So fun. And we'd sleep on the trampoline.
Oh, and that's like a teen movie. That's a scene from a teen movie.
Yeah, it was fun. Like it was a good time. Like, and then there was
simpler days.
It was really simple times. It was right before university, and it was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And then so after that I went to university, and it was like copious amounts of alcohol on like so a day. Much. Like I'd say like 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah,
like.
And you lived in residence.
Lived in residence. So it definitely contributed to it. And I lived on a party floor in a party residence. So it wasn't like out of the question. It was like a lot of people were doing it. It seemed acceptable. And I guess I got kind of boring after that. Like drink less now.
I don't think so.
We
still drink quite a bit.
We still drink quite a bit, but it's still significantally less than it used to be.
Well, I mean, we know what we can and cannot drink.
Exactly.
Now.
Also, I don't want to be hungover for 3 days, so I don't.
Yeah,
totally overindulge.
Hangovers are worse now than they were before. Like it feels like there was just so much resilience.
Yes.
In the college days,
when you're young, it's so much easier. Not that we're not young still, but like when you're younger,
this is gonna turn into a.
I'm so like get off my lawn sort of conversation. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Hangovers.
Oh, hangovers. Yeah,
like we would power through.
Yeah,
like you would
get up in the morning, and go to class
2 or 3 nights in a row back then.
Yeah,
and now it's like the idea of drinking 2 nights in a row,
or even drinking on a weeknight is like
we still do that.
Well, sometimes, not all the time.
I get drunk on many weeknights.
Yeah,
But I also have a job that I don't have to go in.
Yeah, you don't have to go in super early.
So, but yeah, it's a journey.
Yeah,
it really is.
Like it is. It's with anything you have to like figure things out, and it's all about.
You figured some stuff out.
In terms of what?
Wow. Do we want to talk about what you went through?
We can talk about it.
So. I think, like, when I think about you and I personality-wise, we're both we're sensitive people, I would say.
Yeah.
We are both Pisces.
Uh-huh.
We're a week away birthday-wise. So we're very similar in a lot of ways.
I think, it's like we are similar, but you are, like, maybe, like, not the shadow, but, like, a reflection in a different way. It's like, you're an extrovert, I'm an introvert, but we have very similar tendencies otherwise. Like,
I would say so.
Yeah.
Like, I would say that, like, when... We're feelers.
Yeah.
And not everyone's a feeler.
No.
And you know what I realized? Like, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, definitely not.
Like, I used to think, like, there's an aspect of growing up where it's like, when you're in that teen stage or even early college where you're like, this is how I am, and I just feel like everyone should be how I am, and why is everyone not like me? And when you grow up, you realize, like, this is just how I am, and everyone else is different.
Yeah.
Everyone experiences pain, but they do it in different ways.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And in terms of, like, mental health, it was never really taught to us that these things happen.
Well, I mean...
Not for me, anyway.
Oh, it wasn't for me either. It didn't exist. Like, I mean, I had depression in high school. I took medication for it, and besides that, I didn't really realize what else was out there in terms of what mental illness is. So
it just wasn't.
Besides just depression and anxiety, it wasn't really discussed because why would it be discussed? Because it's not going to happen to me, or it's not going to happen to my family, or whatever. So
yeah, and there's a stigma attached to it, and I think that stigma I think it's starting to slowly disappear a bit.
I feel like it is and it isn't. Like, I feel like the stigma is okay. It's starting to dissipate for depression and anxiety.
Yes.
But for other things, it's still, like, taboo to talk about.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So,
very true. So you went through an extremely hard time in your life.
Yeah.
That started what year of college?
It was
what
like...
year was that?
I can't remember what year it was, like, university-wise, but, like, it would have been, like, 2009.
Okay, 2009.
So I was kind of struggling in university, so I decided that I was going to look into, like, maybe seeing a psychiatrist about investigating why I was struggling so hard. So anyway, I went to the psychiatrist. He was like, I think you have ADD, and he prescribed me 8 Adderall. And at first it was fine. I started taking it, and I noticed a marked improvement in, like, my ability to study and to do well in school. But as time went on, there was things that started to, like, change.
Yeah.
Like, I was taking English at the time, and yeah, my marks were great. But then I just noticed that, like, it was a weird sensation because you feel, like, anxious, but you don't at the same time. Like, I felt chill, but I felt like my whole body was, like, vibrating on the inside. But I should have, like, talked to the doctor about this, but I was like, I think it was already taking effect on me at that point where I wasn't aware of, like, what it was doing to me.
Yeah.
So it was just like it's just a side effect. I'm just gonna ignore that.
Yeah.
Because I liked the other effects of it.
It was improving other areas.
It was improving other areas of my life. So I was like, this is cool. Yeah. And I lost some weight when I was taking it. Like, I already lost a lot of weight at that point, but I lost probably like 20 to 30 pounds after I started taking this medication.
You did, big time.
Yeah. So, like, before that, I probably lost like 50. Yeah, like 50 pounds, and then I lost like 20 to 30 after I started taking the medication. So it was like the last bit I wanted to lose. So I liked that aspect of it. But yeah, as time went on, things started to change, like I said. And yeah, like at first it started with me getting a laptop, and it was like there was someone I was in love with at the time. And I started to believe that he had hacked into my computer and, like, was spying on me. So then I, like, eventually, as time went on, I, like, confronted him about it, and that dissolved that relationship. And I thought that was the end of it. I thought that, like, you have to remember that, like, in my mind, this had nothing to do with medication. Like, this was just things that were going on, outside factors that were going on in my life. So things were good. Like, after that point, like, there was probably like maybe 5 or 4 months that went by where everything seemed to be going well. And then I went back to, it was like September time, I think, around there, that I went back to my final year of school. And yeah, like, it started with like having like a crush on the professor, and then it developed into the professor was hacking into my computer as well. And then it became this really huge thing where, like, you know, he was sneaking in my room at night. He was spying on me, like, all these different things. Yeah, like. And
as a bystander, like, I was your friend at the time, and it's really, like, looking back at this was a crazy thing to go, like, see a friend go through.
Yeah.
Because it started off being, I'm in love with so-and-so, and I think that they're spying on me. Which is not beyond the realm
yeah, exactly, of the possibility, yeah.
And so you don't necessarily immediately go to, something is wrong here.
Yeah.
You give your friend the benefit of a doubt. Yeah. And even though you might not think that it's happening, you're just like, okay, she'll figure out eventually that it's not the case.
And also, like,
you know, like, you give the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's still realistic.
And also because, like, there was no other real side effects at the time. Like, that was my main focus. That was the thing that, like, was taking up a lot of my time. So there wasn't a lot of, like, other things going on along with that. So yeah, there was that. And then, yeah, with the professor, it was, you know, him seeking my room. Like, it got really bad where it was like,
were you, and here's a question, because I am legit curious with this. Were you actually seeing these things?
That's the thing that I've always, like, it's not hard to talk about, but, like, I never saw, like, I was never hallucinating to the point where I was, like, physically seeing people, like, come into my room.
Right.
It was more of, like, I remember, like, I can give this one example, like, walking in my room and then hearing someone clear their throat under my bed.
Oh,
so, like, it was, like,
yeah,
like, it makes me uncomfortable because it is uncomfortable. But, like, yeah, like, I thought he was there, and, like, it just progressed to this thing where it seemed like the secret that I was having with him, and it wasn't even real. And it's weird to have a relationship with someone and for them to not exist in in real terms. Like, it's very strange.
Oh my God.
And it's very strange to not trust your senses. Like, when it's like all of your senses are failing you and are lying to you, it's a very messed up thing to experience.
Damn. And like, I will say, because I remember being like hearing you talk about this at the time. For me, it was when there was a time that you were like, I'm pretty sure that I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
And you took a pregnancy test at my apartment.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment that I was like, this is not good.
Yeah.
Something is not right.
Yeah.
And like, this is not me. This is not, hormones or lust or like
this
delusions
is like
of grandeur. Or like,
it was delusions, but not of grandeur. Yeah.
They were delusions because of mental illness.
Yeah.
Not delusions of like you just making it up.
Oh no. Like, it was a total, like, I think if I had taken a lie detector, I would have passed it because I believed it and it felt real. Like, I mean, it's just a very strange thing to experience. And like, being out of it for so long, it's not like as hard to like, it's harder to look, it's almost like looking at it in the eyes of someone else. Like, it doesn't feel like it happened. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it happened to me. Other times it feels like it really happened to me.
Right.
But because it's just, that I can look back on it like with different eyes now. So.
And it's crazy too, because I mean, since then you've been on various medications.
Yeah.
And it was a gradual shift of I am now better.
Yeah.
And it was when you started to state your experiences as those weren't real experiences. And you've made jokes. You make jokes about it. You say, I was crazy back then.
Oh, I definitely use the word crazy, like, in a derogatory way towards myself. Because it's just, like, some of it, not, like, you have to find some humor in things. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there was a point where I just remember, like, one moment, like, where I was at my mom's place, and I had written, like, words all over myself in Sharpie, like, all over my body. And she came in the kitchen, I was, like, eating food sitting on the floor in the kitchen. And I think about it, and it still bothers me. She's never mentioned it, but it's just like that moment, I'm like, how horrifying would that be to like walk in on?
Crazy.
Like,
yeah.
But yeah, it's just.
So that's what I'm most fascinated about, because so much of, I think, your journey with mental health has been you relying on doctors to give you medications.
Yeah.
And then the medications either make it worse or they help a little bit, but they have these other, like, it just seems like a constant struggle to get to a point of, okay, I'm okay.
Well, do
you know what I mean?
It's like a balancing act, because like you have to find the right dose, you have to find the right medication. I was thankful because it didn't take too long for me to figure out what like medication I needed.
Right.
It was pretty quick, and I remember within the first 2 weeks of taking the medication, I was sitting in class and I was like, huh. None of that was real. Okay, like in front of, like, in the class, my professor.
Was it a moment that you just?
Yeah, no, it was like within 2 weeks of the medication, it was like a. Damn. Wow, like none of that was real. It's like it's a very like, and I don't even know how to describe it, because it's just like that was like a year and a half of my life.
It was a long time.
It was a very long time, and to think back and be like, all those like little experiences, like there was various moments where I thought I was being followed by like unmarked vans and things like that, and
a lot of people are watching me, or people are like, you thought you were being watched, or
like followed and
people
watched.
Were in your room,
and
like,
and I was hearing voices, but I feel like it was like in a slightly different sense. Mm-hmm. Like, it was never like. It never felt like it was like you talking to me right now. It was more of like inside my own head. Yeah. Where it was like, you know how like you'll have a thought pop in your head and it'll be like a voice, and it might be your own, usually it's your own voice, but you'll like think of a sentence in your head. It was more like that, like thought, where it was like, but it would be things that I wasn't wanting to think of, or like, things that like you need to go kill yourself. You need to jump off the bridge, like things like that. Like those things that I knew were outside of myself, and I would respond to the voices sometimes, like, and be like, no, I'm not doing that, like, stop talking to me, like.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. So.
Damn.
But yeah, and like there were in terms of like visual hallucinations, it was not like I wasn't seeing people, but I remember I'd see like little cartoon images, like especially if I was like laying on my bed looking up at the ceiling. It would be like little cartoons that were like moving and they would like interact with each other and like usually they start like devouring each other, killing each other.
Jesus Christ.
But it like never went past that. It was never like, you know,
it wasn't like real and, like, people.
Yeah, it was never like
right. Which is crazy to me because like when you would be describing these experiences, it felt like the way that you would go into detail.
Yeah, because like I would omit details because I would be like, in my mind, I was still like on some level rational enough to realize, well, if I have to say something so it sounds like I don't know how to describe. Like I had to make it like make sense to other people.
Interesting.
Because it made sense to me, but it would be like the whole professor thing. It was like in my like this is the scenario. It would be like him getting in my like lock like I would hear like someone at the back door, and I would hear them like rattling the doorknob, and then I would hear like footsteps coming into my room, and then him going under my bed or whatever. Like very creepy things. But like I knew that was creepy and weird, so I'd have to make it sound more normal. I'd have to normalize it.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
Yeah.
And so you had a moment in class where you were like, everything that was it one moment?
No, it was after I took the medication. It was like everything started to become more clear. I remember I was writing in my journal or something, and I remember I was like, the doctors want me to take antipsychotics. I will try them and see what they do. I'm not crazy. I don't need these pills, but it was more of like, I'll take them because I want to see what happens.
Right.
Which is like not typically what happens with people with mental illness, that they just willingly take medication so easily.
Yeah,
usually
really,
it's a huge fight.
Yeah.
So I took the medication and it worked. Like my mom said, she told me, she's like, within like a day or two, she was like, I noticed like a difference. Like even, she's like, your face changed. And she's like, I know that sounds really weird, but there was something about your face that was just different. And it was like, interesting. Yeah. And then after, I took the medication. It was like within 2 weeks, it was like, I mean, not everything subsided, but the thoughts and the delusions did. And yeah.
And what was the exact diagnosis?
It was amphetamine-induced psychosis.
Crazy. And so, do we have a meaning or a definition of what that is?
What it is amphetamine is like what Adderall is. It'd be like, it's similar to like meth and things like that, which is terrible.
I was going to say, I didn't, like, I knew that it was psychosis, but I didn't know that was part of it.
Yeah, it's drug-induced psychosis. Because, like, I was taking something that I should never have taken.
Right.
It caused, I mean, and the thing is, there is mental illness that runs in my family, but, like, there's no telling whether or not it would have happened if I did. And I've talked to psychiatrists, and they're like, likely it wouldn't have happened, but we can't say for sure because you there's no way to test that.
No way to test it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might get it without a family history.
Exactly. Anyone can get it at any time. Like, no one's immune to mental illness.
What's it like talking to psychiatrists all the time?
I don't talk to psychiatrists all the time. The mental health system is not that great in this country, or this province at least.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
bullshit.
it's like, I had a psychiatrist for about a year. Like, I had one I saw when I took the Adderall, and we stopped seeing visits, and that's why I think things kind of spiraled, because he wasn't seeing me on a regular basis. And then after that, I saw him for about a year every month. And then he retired, and then no one took his place. And then after that, I like wanted to go see either psychiatrists to like lower my dosage or remove the medication I'm currently on, just because it's caused like added side effects since then. But to no avail. Like, there's no way I can go off it right now. So
it's therapy alone. Like,
yes, I never saw like
right.
I went to mental health several times, even while I was psychotic. And they never gave me any help. They said I was too healthy to receive services.
And that right there is the problem with the system.
Yeah.
Mental health is not seen, because you're not outwardly like hurting people or being violent.
Exactly.
Or freaking out. You're not seen as someone who needs help. And that's the main problem.
Definitely.
And it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, these people need help. They're telling you.
I know.
And like, it takes such there's so much of a step to take to be like, I need help. Like to actually get to the point where you're like, I need help me.
Yeah.
Can you help me? And then they're not doing it.
Exactly. Like it takes a lot of courage to get to that point, and then to have no support there is just terrible.
It's awful.
Yeah.
And so you've been good for a while.
Yeah, it's been since like 2011. So like 7 years.
Yeah. And what would you say, like looking back at that experience, you've probably learned a shit ton about yourself.
Yeah. What
were your main takeaways from that?
I guess
this is turning into a Barbara Walters.
Yeah. One of the main things was like, I think some of the reasons behind me going on the medication were, it wasn't just for school. Like there was an aspect of me of wanting to change for someone else, like someone I was in love with, the person that I ended up accusing of hacking my computer. Like I was trying so hard to like make a relationship work when there was no relationship really there, besides like a friendship and everything. But like, yeah, like the takeaway from that was like, no matter what, you can't make someone love you. Yeah. No matter what you do, you cannot change yourself to make someone love you. So it's better to just try to find someone who will love you for who you are right now.
That's very true.
So like, I think that's like a big part. That was like big one. And also like, yeah, like I'm not willing to change for anyone now. Like, I don't care if I'm overweight. I don't care about those things because it's like, when it comes down to it, like, it's quality over quantity. Like I can go on Tinder and find like a ton of guys who will want to like sleep with me if I was like 30 pounds lighter. But it's like, do I really want that? Like, I don't want that.
Hell no.
So.
No, it's bullshit. I mean, that's huge. Like you admitting that. Like that you're accepting yourself for who you are. Because it sounds fucking cheesy, but that's not an easy thing.
No.
It
takes a long time. Yeah.
A long time. Yeah. And I feel like even I just feel like for me it's been in the past 2 years that it's happened.
Yeah.
And I didn't go through what you went through. Like I didn't go through something as extreme as that.
And that's not the only takeaway. Like there's other things too. Mm-hmm. But that's like the one I can think of right off the top of my head. But yeah.
The idea of self-care too. Taking a break. Stepping back.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and admitting to, like, I am not healthy right now. I need to focus on me.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I took several years, like, of unemployment and, like, doing nothing. And it took a long time. Like, I mean, yeah, like, I was recovered in the sense of I was no longer having symptoms. But there was, like an overall sense of fatigue and, like, not, I guess, depression, too. I think I was depressed for a really long time. So the motivation wasn't there.
Yeah.
But it took a long time. Like, I know people were kind of getting impatient with me because they were like thinking I should be doing something that I wasn't ready to do. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy I did things on my terms, and I'm happy I did things when I was ready to do things. Otherwise, I'd probably still be doing nothing right now.
Yeah.
Because if you push yourself when you're not ready to do something and it doesn't work, then you're more likely to not do it again. Like,
it's so true.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And when you think about like, I think it's hard for outside people looking in because, and I'm looking at my cat when I say this, it's kind of like dealing with a sick animal. Like, you're not seeing the pain that they're going through or what they're experiencing because they can't talk. And I feel like mental illness is the same. Like you just said, you might not have physical symptoms or symptoms that are like outwardly obvious, but you're overcoming like years of like a war in your mind in a way.
And like damage you're overcoming to my brain. Like
big time. And like not a lot of that is outwardly obvious to people. It's and like, so they judge.
Well, I think it's the same with like I don't know if it's the same because I really don't know. But I was like in my mind compared to like traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
Because like it is an effect on the brain, and the brain takes a while to recover. And sometimes never does recover, but there is like plasticity there. And yeah, like I think that was a large part of it was just I needed to recover. I needed that time to rest.
Yeah.
And it was a long time, and I probably like shouldn't have taken that as long as I did. And it's weird because like there's a part of me that feel like the recovery after the fact is like it was years, but it was like in my mind when I think back of it, it's like I could probably sum it up in a week. Right. In the sense of like it didn't feel as long as it was. Like, it just didn't feel that long, but
probably sped by.
and it feels like you just were sleeping, like, and then you wake up and you're like, oh, I lost a couple years there, and that's unfortunate. But what can you do? Like, there's other things to complain about. So,
and what can you, like, that's just it.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Yeah.
There were some years there that you could have been doing other things, but
yeah,
it doesn't matter because you're better now.
Yeah.
And you're in a better spot mentally than you would have been if you had rushed into them back then.
Exactly. That's how I feel about it.
And the thing is, too, is like, so much of this is, like, about you owning that.
Yeah.
Because if you own that, like, people are going to understand more. Do you know what I mean?
No,
like,
I totally agree. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't care if they understand.
Yes,
like,
fuck them.
I just don't. Yeah, I just don't care.
Go
like,
fuck yourself.
Yeah. No, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't really care because it's like, you know what? You don't have to, like, you meet people all the time and they don't understand you, and it's not their job to understand you, and it's not my job to, like, I mean, on some level, yes, you want to understand people so that they're like, you can have empathy for them. Yeah. But you know what? A lot of people don't care. Like, a lot of people don't have empathy for me. So I don't really care if they understand my whole life story. Yeah. I don't need to tell everyone I meet my life story.
And they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Not all of them deserve it, is the thing. And that's one thing that I want to ask you, because, like, what you went through is like, it's traumatic. It's a big deal. Are you somebody, and I mean, like, she's on the podcast now talking about it, so that's a huge deal. But, like, are you somebody who thinks, do you find it hard telling people, like, say you meet someone, and that could be a new friend or, like, a guy or any situation, like, do you find it hard opening up about stuff like this at this point?
I mean, I feel like I'm probably better now than I was.
Yeah.
But it's hard because in my mind, there's, like, a lot of, like, oh, if I tell them, this is what, like, I always think of. I'm like, in my mind, if I tell them, the first thing they're going to think is, oh, that explains things.
Oh, no. Ow, that makes my heart hurt.
But you know what I mean? Like, that's what I think of.
That's what you go to first.
So it's like, I don't want that to be the first thing, like, hey, nice to meet you. I had a psychotic break once. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't do that.
No, of course not.
So
I think you have to suss people out and suss out their ability to, like, understand mental health and understand they need to have empathy. They can't be somebody who, because there's definitely people out there that'll, like, use can't seem to relate to people.
Yeah.
And that explains much. Don't say that.
No, but it's also, and there's also, like, the whole, like, idea of, like, how much have I changed, like, friends wise, like, how much have they noticed, like, compared to how I used to be and how I am now, how much of a change is there? And it's like one of those questions, like, I want the answer, but I don't want the answer because, like,
there's a huge change, I think.
In a positive way or a negative
I think positive.
Okay.
I think we all have a ways to go.
Yeah, and I think
is the thing.
And the thing too
there's
is,
no
like,
one. There's no one I look at that I'm like, they're perfect, or like,
oh my god, no,
you know? Like,
no. But I mean, like, I meant, like, more of, like I guess, like, even you, like, even if I look back to how you were back then when I went through the change, you're not the same person you are today.
No.
And that's something I have to remember is, like, everyone's gone through different experiences. They're not the same person they were, like, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's very true. It's just we have different stories.
Yeah.
And we had different ways of getting there. But, like, as a bystander, like, even just witnessing what you went through.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, I would say, like, I have a cocktail of anxiety and depression on a regular basis, but, like, I don't have anything as extreme as what you went through. But, like, just witnessing that gave me a better understanding of people who go through mental health issues.
Yeah.
Because you might hear about someone going through it and you just think to yourself, like, they have friends and family who are, like,
oh my god, yeah,
who are dealing with this. I don't want to say dealing with this person.
No, but that's what
I don't
it is.
mean it like that.
I know,
like,
I didn't take it like that.
They're involved with this person's problems.
Yeah.
And I relate so much because, like, seeing you go through that was really hard for me.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to always tell someone what you're going through is not real.
Well, it's
when they're expressing it as so
I've
real.
been there on both sides of the coin.
Yes, you have, yeah.
And I'm not gonna go into, like, details on that, but, like,
yeah.
I've been on both sides, and it's very strange experience to know what the other to know, like, that the person is going through something that's not real. but to understand their side of it and be like,
and
from the
see
perspective,
it from the other side.
I see it from both sides.
Yeah.
It's very strange because you'd think I'd have more empathy, and I do, but like, it's like you get to a point where it's like, it doesn't matter like how much you've seen it yourself. Like, you want to shake the person and be like, you're wrong. Like, you're wrong.
There's
you're so wrong.
Much better out there.
Yeah.
Like, you could be so much better.
Yeah, like, you could have a life. You could be doing great things. Like, but it's frustrating and it's hard. And it's, you do see things from a different perspective when you walk through it. Like, it's one of those things, like, people who don't understand mental illness or have never experienced it have no idea.
No idea. And that's not even, like, to experience it is to know someone with it.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily have it yourself.
No.
But if you've seen it on the front lines, you have some concept of,
oh my God, yeah, that
I get what's going on here.
Like, and you can watch the news or read the news and like instantly be like, oh, that's too bad, that person has mental illness. Like, like where you hear of like stories of people trying to locate family members and things like that, or like not taking medication or what have you. Like, you get a better idea of like what's going on in their world. Yeah. And I mean, it just goes back to the fact that like we have a shitty system for it, and it should be better than what it is. I don't know what it takes to get there. I wish I did. Yeah. But it's just a real shame. It is. That help is not more easily accessed. Yeah. Like, I mean, honestly, like, I make the joke. I'm like, everyone in my life could use a therapist. It's true, though. I think that's like really every healthy. Single, and it might not be as extreme as like delusions or like stuff like that, but like everyone could use some freaking therapy. Definitely. And like talking to people about what they're going through, and it needs to be cheaper. Yeah, definitely. Or I don't even know, like more accessible. Yeah, big time. So you're going to be 31 in a couple days. Yeah. What are your goals for the year going forward? I don't know. I have no idea. Or what are you looking forward to? I don't know. I would like to be happier. Like, I know it's like a journey to be happier. Like, you know, it's not like something you do overnight. But do you know what it would take to make you happier? I think positive thinking and like not doing the whole negative self-talk and stuff like that. I think that would help. It's so hard. It is hard. I'd like to be more active. I don't care about the whole weight thing right now. Mm-hmm. I'm more just like, I want more energy and I want to be more active. You want to feel better. Yeah, I want to feel better. I don't care about the appearance thing right now, so. It's hard to do. It can be hard to like find that motivation to do that though. Yeah. Well, right now my job it does motivate me because the type of work it is, you're physically, like, you're in a gym for maybe an hour every day. So you have to like find the motivation to like get that energy. Dribble the ball and throw the ball in the basket and chase the kids around, things like that. So, well, a new job, and like you started working this past year. Yeah, in August. And a new job can really reignite that. Yeah, definitely. That sense of like motivation and stuff especially like that. When it's like a kind of somewhat, not physically demanding, but it is somewhat demanding. So. And how are you finding Tinder? I don't know. I'm not a fan, but I'll do it because I feel like I have to. That's just like, how am I going to meet anyone? I don't know. It just feels like there's not one person I'd talk to that says that it's easy. Yeah, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I was talking to a guy for a little bit, but he was like a lot younger than I was, and I didn't talk to him for 2 days, and now I think he's like not talking to me because I didn't talk to him. Anyway, it's fine. I don't really actually care. It's the fizzle. It's the fact that, I mean, you're doing something different. Yeah. And I mean, like, Danielle and I and Andrea have talked about, we should tell a story about Valentine's Day. We went to a Valentine's Day singles event, and we just ended up talking to each other. Yeah. I love, like, Andrea's, like, you remember what she did with her sticker? What did she do? Oh, it was so stupid. She put on her nipples. Yeah, I thought that was funny. Would. But I will say, it's very comforting to go through life with a close set of girlfriends. Yeah. Who are going through the same things. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think I'd be in a different place if I didn't have friends who were in similar places that I am at right now. We all have very different lives. Yeah. We have different things going on, but we are all single, and it's just good to know that like stuff like that everyone experiences. Everyone experiences loneliness. Yeah. And
feeling like they don't belong and stuff like that. And it's just, it is good to know. And I'm very lucky to have Danielle as a friend.
Oh, ditto.
For as long as I have, because like, Jesus Christ, like we've been through a lot of life together.
Yeah.
And seen each other through like the worst of the worst of the worst. And we're still friends. Yeah. And that's something, there's something to be said for that.
Oh, definitely.
I think big time. Do you think that there's a reason we're as close as we are? Like, because we mentioned before about us being similar. Yeah. But we are very different too.
Oh, definitely.
Like you said, you're the introvert, I'm the extrovert. Like, what is it about our friendship? I don't know.
I think part of it is because we're not even friends. We're just family at this point. You know what I mean? And it's not even like supposed to be like a cheesy thing.
That's so true, though.
Like, I mean, there are times where I'm so frustrated with you. That, like, it's insane. And but you know what I mean? Like, there are times where we fight, but there's no sense of, like, we've been friends so long, you can't break the bond.
That's just it. And I touched on it with Kurt a bit. There is an aspect to knowing someone for so long that, like, you get frustrated with them, but it is just what it'll pass. Like,
oh, definitely.
Because you're just like, this is how this person is.
And it's worth it.
They're not going to change.
It's like a marriage or anything else. Like, it becomes the point where it's worth it to continue than it is to, like...
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when it's... You know what I mean? Like, I mean, not that it's that bad, but like...
so much of it I find, too, is like, communicating, I think. Yeah. Because I think that's a huge thing that fucks friendships up. Is not communicating correctly. Yeah. Or not communicating how you're feeling correctly. So, like, little interactions might be taken personally when they're not meant to be. And so, like, communicating, just being like, listen, this is how it is. This is what I meant. Learning how to say those things is huge, I think, in adult friendships.
Oh, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so I think that that's something that we've started doing, which is good. Yeah. Because I'm just like, hey, listen, bitch. Been friends with you since grade 2. Like, don't you ever think this way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so you're not going anywhere. Yeah. You're going to be part of my imaginary wedding that never happens. Yeah. The wedding that will never happen.
Oh, that's not true.
Do you want to get married? What are your thoughts on marriage?
I feel so weird about everything, like, in terms of relationships right now.
Yeah.
It's just like I feel like I'm broken in that sense of like, I do want it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. If it doesn't happen for me, I don't think it'd be the end of the world. And I think that's a weird thing for most people. You know what I mean?
See, and I think about this all the time. Because I do know a lot of single people at our age. And that seems to be something a lot of people are saying lately. Yeah. Which is like, if it doesn't happen, I won't be heartbroken. And you know what my like thought is on that? I'm like, is this you being honest? Because
yeah, it is.
Because like I say that sometimes and then I go home and cry.
Well, this is my thing. It's more of like, I don't know, I'm just like in a weird phase of my life where like, you know, the whole Tinder thing, I talk to people and then I'm just like, do I really want to date this person? No, I don't want to date this person. But I'm doing it because I'm going through the motions.
But that's the thing, you don't know that person.
No, but even like, I have a general idea of what I want. And then as I'm talking to them, I'm like, this isn't what I'm envisioning for myself. This isn't, like, some of these qualities, the way you're speaking to me right now is not really what I want.
And it sucks, too, because it's like, maybe that's not how that person is. Yeah. But they're presenting themselves that way.
That's true.
So you're going to think that based on how they present themselves. And that's what's frustrating about online dating. But it's like, I feel like I just genuinely think some people don't know how to talk to women. Yeah. Or some people don't know how to communicate online. Yeah. Kind of thing.
I just don't know. I just don't really know what I want either, which is hard. Like, if you knew what, like, I know what I want on one level and on another level I don't. So it's frustrating because it's like, I don't have, like, a plethora of people to just, you know, go through and see what I want. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know.
No, that's true. And, like, I think about that, too, all the time, about the idea of knowing what you want, which is seen as, like, a independence thing. Yeah. Oh, you know what you want. That's a good thing. It's just like, I know what I want to a point where I'm disappointed in so much. Yeah. And, like, that is not necessarily good either. Yeah. Because, like, in my mind, I know what I want. But usually what's in my mind is like a romanticized movie version of what real life is. Yeah. So much of my life has been like, okay, guess what? That's not how life works. Yeah. I think that there's ups and downs with that. Yeah. Because I experience like expectation hangovers a lot.
Yeah, that's true too.
Which is a big...
It's hard, yeah. No, I get it. It's
a
like
big problem.
Like, especially if you had like something that you really wanted or you envisioned for yourself and then you don't get it and then that's what you always like compare everything to. It sucks.
So like that's a challenge, I think.
Oh, definitely.
Because we all know the cliched sayings that people, things will come around when you least expect it.
Yeah.
And like it's just bullshit. Because who's not gonna expect it? I don't know. That's just how I think.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm the one always expecting things.
Maybe. I don't know.
That could be it. But it's been a wild ride being friends with Danielle. What I want to mention with Danielle is we have these things. I don't even know what you would call them. Psychic connections.
Moments. Yeah.
Or like I will go to say something and you will just be like, I was literally just about to say that.
Yeah.
Or like we're thinking the same thing at the same time.
Or like listening to the same type of music.
Or we have similar dreams.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
Like we'll have a dream and it's just this
we'll
weird
both
thing.
be at a water park or something like ridiculous.
Yeah. And we're in each other's dreams a lot as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of creepy.
I had a dream about you last night, actually.
Oh, did ya?
Yeah, I dreamt you had a goldfish and it was like crawling under the bowl and like eating plants.
That's absolutely terrifying.
It wasn't scary though. It wasn't
and very much so a metaphor about how me trying to control my life.
Oh, maybe.
Like you're a fish. You're supposed to be in the bowl. Why are you out eating
Maybe it's
plants?
not supposed to be in the bowl though. Maybe it's supposed to be outside the bowl.
Oh, it's
in
a
the ocean somewhere.
landfish. It's
not a landfish, but
it's a landfish.
Yeah.
But no, we have a lot of moments like that.
Yeah, we do.
It's always really fucking cool when that happens.
I know. I love those kind of moments.
Yeah, it's very like
serendipitous.
Didn't you say that you moved to Antigonish because of a photo your mom saw?
Yeah.
Like she saw a photo and she was like,
it was a picture of the university campus.
I think I'll move to Antigonish,
and that's why she went to school there. Because she was choosing between like several universities, and like my mom went to school later in life, I should say. And she decided on that campus because there was a tree and a photo of the campus, and she was like, I have a good feeling about that, so I'm gonna go there.
Damn.
And it was right for the time. Like I have really good memories of that town, and in some ways, like especially like that house I grew up in. Like I loved the land. The house itself I wasn't a big fan of, but the land itself was awesome.
We had a great childhood.
Yeah, we did.
We had
a lot of outdoor fun, like outdoors fun. Oh, I didn't say that right.
outdoor fun.
Yeah.
Outdoor adventures.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of running around the woods.
Yeah.
And like, I'm very thankful for that because I can't imagine growing up now.
Me neither. I wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't want to either. Oh, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, no problem.
And you never know, maybe we'll do a deeper dive into the mental health stuff because that is something I want to cover more. It's a heavy topic.
Yeah, like
it's hard.
I was like, I wanted to take notes before I came here, but I didn't.
I think you covered a lot of it. It's hard
I did,
to talk
but
about.
It's hard because like, I feel like when I say it out loud, it seems so much more minimal.
Nah.
Like it was because it was so in depth, and like when you're in it, it feels vast.
It feels, yeah.
And so, yeah, but anyway.
But this is the reality. Yeah. So many people go through this, and
it's not often talked about.
It's not often talked about. People are ashamed to talk about it, and it's like we gotta stop being ashamed to talk about stuff like that. So you're contributing to that. So thank you so much for coming on. And I'm sure she'll be back on another episode, hopefully with Karen.
I don't know if it's gonna happen.
You got some funny drunk stories. Like Danielle's been drunk to a point of I thought she would die.
So
drunk.
I didn't know I was gonna die because I was out of it. But anyway,
but you're like I really well could have.
It was definitely alcohol poisoning for sure.
Oh man, yeah. I would like to get Karen on to do an episode about that. But we'll wrap it up. We are gonna actually go hang out with Karen and Eve right now. So we're gonna continue drinking on. But thanks so much for coming on the show.
No problem.
And ring that bell.